All right. Thank you everybody for being here at the January 8th, 2026 Stormwater Task Force meeting, our first one of the year. Um, Either you can be here in person at the Lunenburg DPW or on our Zoom call. I don't see anybody watching at the moment. Um, so we'll open up with public comments, but I don't see any members of the public, so we will continue on to the meat of our meeting today. Um, yeah, do you want to just introduce yourself for the recording?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Dries Schwartz. I'm from Weston and Sampson Engineers. And yeah, thank you so much for having me here tonight.
Yeah, thank you for coming in.
Maybe
Uh,
we can go around, introduce
Sure.
ourselves.
oh, sure.
I've met Doris on some calls. So I'm the select board rep for Stormwater.
Mark Muzzy, just joined the committee in September. I think it was September, so.
Tim Welsmer, the planning board representative.
In our chair.
Oh, yeah, and the chair, yes.
Remember.
John's been on this the longest, right? Of all of us that are here. Yeah. And we have one other Jenny, who you,
Yes, so I did meet.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm surprised.
she'll probably come rolling in.
All right, Tim, where do you want to start?
Yes, I don't have my notebook with me. Where were we before? We went over our updated contract. We got funding for, so now what?
So
You have-
Doris just started.
What was
Yeah.
our,
Data.
like
yes,
Get an update on where she's at?
yes, exactly, that's where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, no, so we just kind of getting started. The first thing, obviously, correct, we went back and forth on the scope and kind of agreed on this, kind of these important items to kind of move things forward. So one of the big things, again, was the impervious surface delineation. So there was concerns about the use of old data, I think from 2016, available from Mass GIS to calculate impervious surface area on those, the non-residential, large residential buildings that are going to be part of a tiered structure within the stormwater fee system. And so the goal for us was to, provide updated impervious surface data. And so we worked with an outside vendor who we've contracted with to work on that.
Told you. I thought I heard something out there.
So that process, so that process takes a little while, getting the data back from him, and then we do our own QA/QC on that data. So I'd say probably, and I'm trying to be, like I said before, I'm kind of thinking about like when your warrant opens and closes and having that data because you want to revisit your fee structure. It sounds like you're sold on the existing structure. It's just updating it with the new impervious surface information is my understanding, right? We're not looking to, you like the idea of the flat fee for the small residential properties.
Yes.
And the tiered structure, it's just maybe relooking at the tiers a little bit once
It's
we get
the
the new
bigger,
data back.
yeah, the bigger ones,
exactly.
we want to weight them,
Right.
definitely break them up, delineate them a little more.
Right, so I would estimate it might be about a month before
Okay.
we have the data back and we
Okay.
have a chance to QA/QC the data on our end and work with our sub. And then we can, share that data with all of you. And I know, we talked about the user fee rate structure analysis and how, you weren't sure you needed much assistance on that end because you'd kind of vetted, what rate structure, was preferable. But I know we did include a little bit of time just so maybe we can help a little bit with that effort as well. And, maybe we relook at the tiers a little bit, potentially, and just kind of revisit that discussion, just to make sure those are equitable and are gonna kind of hold up kind of going forward. So that's kind of tasks 1 and task 2. And then the third one is really getting into the meat of kind of the community education and engagement portion of it. Very important piece of this, obviously. And so I think, as we think about starting to pull together kind of materials for that, thinking about our target audiences, the messaging we want to get out there. And I was saying earlier that I listened to the town meeting article related to trying to get funding for a consultant, obviously, to do this work. And that was helpful because we, did get some feedback from different individuals about, things that they wanted more information on. It seems like, a presentation to the finance committee obviously would be critical here. We want to get their support. And so I kind of just jotted down some notes and had some thoughts about that. But we'll be pulling together, like, I want to start, and I think, a lot of the stuff we can kind of do side by side while we're waiting for the impervious surface data to come back, is kind of putting together like a draft PowerPoint presentation. I looked at the one that you had, and I don't know, did you have, one of you presented, maybe Bill, you presented that information
Yeah.
and what was included there, and it had a lot of great information and how we might be able to kind of retool that and restructure that. Because I'm envisioning like you're going to have one presentation that, and maybe they're going to look a little bit differently for different audiences, but getting something up and running and working on that with you. And and having done this work with a number of communities, I mean, we've thought a lot about the best way to convey the messaging with this. And I think a lot of people want upfront, they want to know like the why, why do we need this? And we want to really, make sure we're getting that information across about why this utility is so important to the community. So I guess, some of the things, I guess I'm also looking from all of you, it's getting more information on what you see as kind of some of the perceived kind of obstacles, challenges to getting this implemented. Because we're also going to develop like a frequently asked questions document. We have kind of a template of the standard questions, but we want to customize it and make sure we're hitting on the things that you think are going to be, come up and be relevant to the community as well. And so, and even thinking about like what are we trying to, when we go before town meeting, I mean, the big thing is usually, the enabling legislation is there. It's putting it forth at town meeting and getting buy-in on that, or getting, a vote on that. And then usually we're putting forth an actual budget for approval. And some communities obviously want to be fully transparent, so they might also attach what the rate structure is going to look like in the warrant article, just for some supporting documentation, so everybody's clear on what, what's going to be expected, going forward. So, I'm just thinking if the warrant closes March 16th, then obviously finalizing that structure, if we're moving forward, is a critical piece of that too, so we can put that information out there. Or we could choose to, trying to think, I feel like we've done like a separate pamphlet, and we definitely presented at different meetings, obviously, to get input. I guess one thing is, do you perceive getting any, I know in one community I worked at, we presented different rate structures, to like the select board, and we did get some feedback on those. And they let the select board kind of choose the structure at that point, but it seems like you've already have a structure that you kind of vetted and you feel comfortable with.
Vetted here, we haven't vetted, so
Vetted
this
it
is,
beyond this.
the public engagement is going to be huge.
Yeah.
In allowing for public input.
Yeah.
We will get nowhere without that. So,
Right.
like, I can tell you things that I've heard already. I know one, FinCom definitely, but the community at large is gonna wanna see the budget.
Right.
Yeah. How do we arrive at the
Oh,
total number, the budget for it, the rate structure? It's being called a tax by a lot of people. It's been brought up, what are our options other than utility?
Mhm.
Including putting it in the operating budget, which
Mhm.
Bill addressed at town meeting.
Yeah.
Getting credit for any mitigation that's been put in place on someone's property. There's been some commercial property owners, business owners that have expressed a concern for them bearing more
Yeah.
burden. Trying to think, what else have we heard? Those are the things I've heard, like, most recently.
Greg also brought up that the stormwater standards for businesses that are being built now, they're already
Oh,
integrated in, so he's wondering how that affects the new
That-
businesses that are
so
coming
getting
in.
credit for if you
Right.
if you spend tens of thousands of dollars to put
Right.
something in.
You want to see that credit. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And I think, some communities choose not to implement a credit system right away because
Right.
already you're collecting money and then you're losing money kind of. Which in the long run, I mean, you have a phosphorus impairment rate. So anything anybody can do, I think it's within the National River watershed area that supports retrofit of the existing system, ultimately is going to support your initiatives under the permit. So seeing that as kind of like a helpful, supporting those retrofits is important, I think. But that's one thing I was looking at your budget because I was like, oh, right away, well, you need to be raising more than this because at some point you'll have a credit system and, you know, I think
Maybe.
there's a certain
I mean-
percentage, unless, and there are some communities that don't have.
Well,
one.
there's,
I'm not saying it's.
here's the
absolutely
downside,
required.
right, to having one, you need someone to administer it,
Right,
right? Two, how do you check? Who checks to make sure that whatever they put in is still functioning?
right,
Up
exactly.
to
Yeah.
guidelines, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And it's, the maintenance is being done, so there's overhead associated with that.
you're right, right, exactly. Nope, that's true. Those
So-
are all concerned. And
Is that a net? And
right.
then, John, come on, what's your point?
If they have a residence or if they have a business here, Bill still has to clean the catch basins, he still has to sweep the streets, he still has to comply with MS4. So it doesn't make sense that they should get off the hook.
Right, I never,
Everyone uses the roads, the town roads.
right, and that's
Thank you.
always something that comes up.
Yeah.
That's a real common question, consideration. And we always say that, you know, no, we don't know of any community that's given more than like a 50% credit. So everyone's 50% is the max we've seen.
You know, shared my mind.
Yeah,
You can't give them a complete credit.
right.
Oh, you can't, no, I wasn't
Right.
thinking complete, but 50 is even more than I was
You were
thinking.
thinking, yeah,
What were you thinking?
I don't know, but it wasn't 50.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I mean, it depends,
Stuff in these upper tiers, like.
that's significant for a
They're
homeowner,
gonna be gargantuan because they have so much impermeable
Yeah.
there.
yeah,
yeah,
So it's gonna be unbearable. So and Greg was here
Yeah.
to make the case because he worked with that big, what's the name of the storage area that they,
Mr. Shirley.
yeah. That is
Bloomberg
gargantuan.
Crossing.
They put an enormous amount of money
Yeah.
into having a stormwater system that, so they wouldn't have any future problems on their property. And it was cleaned the water that would go into our storage, our stormwater system.
Oh, yeah, he said they're putting less water out now than before that
Yes.
facility was even built.
okay.
I'd give them 50% credit.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a home, like if it's $75, $100 a year. 50%, you know, I don't know.
I think for like the small residential, I mean, it's
It's
such a
small.
small fee that for
Right.
them to put in something is gonna be a significant cost to them, so less likely that you're gonna see too much on the small residential side.
And
It's
the
more
other
for
thing I'd
the,
like to add, sorry,
yeah, no.
we just finished a renovation. And it was kind of a collaborative effort between me and the town. Thank you, Bill. We put in at least $10,000 of the stormwater mitigation on our property.
Yeah.
When we did the renovation, because I want to dry cell it. I'm asthmatic. I do not want to mold, the black mold. I don't want to
Yeah.
breathe mildew when I go in the
Yeah.
basement. So people are doing this for themselves, so they can
Right.
put as much money into doing stormwater mitigation on their property, so they have a nice, happy, clean, healthy home environment. But they still have the town they have to deal with. So it should be a flat fee for the residents, I feel. And this is really to target, you know, Bill's budget so he can maintain the town's stormwater system.
Yeah, no,
What they do on their own property, residents, is for the benefit of their healthy environment in their home.
And aren't the stormwater requirements changing now? Like if someone were to come in and want to build a commercial building? Aren't there new?
I don't think it's been updated recently,
No?
not since I've
Okay.
been on the board.
Okay.
I mean, under the permit, if you were to disturb more than an acre,
Yeah,
at a minimum, that was the permit requirement. Some communities chose to move forward with a lower disturbance threshold, but you'd be required to have an operation and maintenance plan for your.
And
for any
Greg's email that came,
control measures.
there was some requirement from the state. Do you remember?
Don't think so.
Oh, I thought.
I thought there was, yeah, I don't know.
According to her.
Oh, I think what he
It
was
was
talking
last
about
year.
was how, I mean, it affects residential too, but where businesses or residences of a certain either amount of parcels or acreage have to comply with stricter stormwater standards and have operations and maintenance plans.
Yeah, yeah, so there's more,
Oh.
and pollutant removal efficiencies, there's different, you know, enhanced requirements related. So hopefully for those entities, you would be getting operation and maintenance reports. I mean.
I hope,
still
that's the
gotta
thing,
try
you
it
can
out.
file a plan,
It's
but then
required
who follows
technically.
up
Right.
on the
Yeah,
plan?
that's an issue.
We ran into this issue.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
And
thing,
staff.
we require it, but who did
There's
this?
no
And
one
that's a-
Nobody would.
That's more than a full-time job, so you
Yeah.
don't really look at all of them, so there's also that.
And there's a cost to the property owner of doing that maintenance and generating a report, whatever.
Yeah.
So what did Greg mean when he said the town has a stormwater bylaw that requires compliance with the Massachusetts stormwater management policy for projects with land disturbance greater than 40,000 square feet?
That's what we were just talking about.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly.
Okay,
That's an acre. It's an acre.
Yeah.
Just under.
Just under.
Yeah,
52.
like 42.
Yeah. it's an acre. So when they're referring to the mass stormwater policy, which is the mass stormwater handbook, which is in the process of being outdated as well by DEP.
And will probably be stricter.
Yes, it will
Yeah.
be. When it comes out, that'll be,
You know when it's coming.
well, they had a draft that was issued, but we've been waiting for that to get finalized. So EPA's message was to communities was don't wait for the mass stormwater handbook to be finalized before you try to meet the MS4 permit requirements, which it seems like you're fully, I think you updated your regulations in 2020. So to be compliant, it looks like with the 2016 MS4 permit, I haven't looked at them, but you should be. Are you getting like stormwater for planning, or are you getting stormwater management permit applications now for certain projects
Yeah.
that's required? Yeah, so that's all related to that initiative, and that is very comprehensive in that respect for those. And I don't know how many, if you have much development that, where you'd see a disturbance or more of acre, a lot of, then, how many of those you're seeing, and if you're, some communities have expressed concern about just bandwidth to review those applications and do the required inspections and all of that piece, and sometimes we need some extra help with that.
Yeah, so that's why in my budget, I have
You have
an
a stormwater-
engineer.
yeah, you have a
person
stormwater,
that-
which I think would be great.
person
They could
One in
help
the
it.
field and inspect and
Right, helping with those items.
review the
too.
reports, because right now nobody's doing that.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely agreed.
So it's hard to give credits when we can't check, right? So
Right.
So I think, so what I'm hearing is credits, we really can't do it the first year,
no,
but ideally have a plan for some kind of credit system.
Right.
yeah, maybe year
Definitely.
3 or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know what,
Another thing we talk about is just abatements. If you want to offer abatements for, seniors or low
oh, yeah.
income, different abatements as well. Some communities offer those. We can certainly provide.
So
handouts.
who else, what other criteria would apply besides?
Well, low income, I guess, potentially. Trying to think if there's anything else we can think of. The abatement side. I feel like other communities have done some unique stuff with abatements. Um. One community I know had something, it wasn't somebody we worked with directly, but something about like public education, that was done on stormwater was kind of offsetting kind of the fee, but I think that's kind of a tricky, what kind of entities would be able to support that. Um,
What do communities do with nonprofits?
so they're still charging nonprofits. The only thing I've seen
Kind of
people not
like their
charge is
taxes.
the municipalities, just because you're just, billing yourself.
Yeah.
But some communities still bill the municipalities because they're like, oh, we want to be completely transparent. But I'm like, oh, then you're just raising more money to cover the the fees by the municipalities. So I had one client that was had some concerns about like a little bit about churches and cemeteries.
Yeah.
And I think they did choose to do like a selected kind of a little bit of an abatement under that scenario, just because I think they have a lot of impervious surface area. So, but I wouldn't say that happens frequently. I think they want to be stringent that they're not allowing too many, um, opportunities to reduce the fee, because they want to try to be consistent across the board. Um, I live in Reading, and I have a stormwater utility as well, and so we pay $60 a year, so it's pretty minimal. It's quarterly, so it's only
Yeah.
really $15 quarterly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't raise a ton compared to most communities, but
How many towns now in Massachusetts have it in
it's
place?
30 that I know of. But I do know of another, a ton of other ones that have been um, through them. Or some that have tried and it hasn't passed, and they've kind of tabled it for a while, looking to revisit it.
Okay.
I mean, I've had communities that have, put forth a budget at town meeting, and the budget gets approved and the utilities in place, and there hasn't, I remember thinking there was a lot of like public engagement initially, but then you get to town meeting and they put the budget forth, and there really wasn't, interestingly, there wasn't a lot of questions or discussion. So, I don't know, it's interesting to see how things transpire in different communities, and pushback. And I worked with, well, my most recent community I worked with was Concord,
Mhm.
Mass, and they were concerned about, too big of a budget. I think they're raising about $1 million as well. They need a lot more, they say, technically, to meet all of their needs, but they're trying to go into it kind of more gently at this point, and kind of reassess. But that did pass, and they were concerned, but there really was a lot of overwhelming support, I felt like.
There's a lot of I saw a recording.
Yeah,
a
we did
while ago, yeah.
we did a lot
Yeah.
of, we did a water symposium where we talked about water, wastewater, and stormwater. That's how we kind of initiated the whole initial discussion. We probably had like 100 people or so attend that. It
Yeah.
was very well received. I felt like that was kind of the initial thing. And then we did a lot with like the Public Works Commission, presenting at those meetings as well. And then the town did a lot of their own kind of going around to different groups, you know, like the sustainability committee, trying to get just different support for the utility and stuff. So I think it was effective. I mean, it was over, obviously it got adopted, but they did it over a kind of a 2-year period. So they were at 2 different town meetings. So the first town meeting, they looked to pass the enabling legislation and they put forth a stormwater bylaw that would establish kind of the framework for the utility, and that kind of got everyone kind of acclimated to what was trying to be done. Then they went back the next year and they actually voted on the budget and kind of didn't really vote on the fee structure, but had that information available. So they kind of did it in like a 2-tier approach, but
We could do that like a special and then the annual. Makes
Yeah.
sense, I don't know.
yeah, because you were talking about maybe there's not an appetite immediately at spring town
I
meeting.
am really worried about this spring, the annual town meeting.
Yeah,
There's gonna be bigger,
right,
there'll be zero appetite.
yeah,
I don't even know if we'll get the attention.
okay,
That's my own personal.
yeah.
Are you aware of anyone who's been fined so far?
It's an interesting question because we feel like we in probably the last 6 months or so, we had kind of reached out to EPA on that. I know a number of communities that I've had meetings with EPA. Communities have been issued administrative orders for noncompliance related to annual reports not being submitted, related to dry weather outfall screening not being completed, and related to the post-construction ordinance requirements not being met. Those are the things that have been on their radar to date. Everyone we've worked with, you know, they've gotten the funding in place or they prioritize, you know, getting those items in place. I just actually, one client just had a deadline of December 31st to get the bylaw and the rules and regs in place. And so we got it in like the week before. So I don't know what would happen if, I haven't heard of anyone.
Cause I've heard the
not-
fines can be big.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, under the 2003 permit, Concord, Mass actually in particular was fined $50,000. And honestly, they were, you know, I think they were, maybe, I don't know if the EPA was trying to make an example of them at that time because they were not like the furthest community out of compliance out there. So it was kind of interesting. But I guess, when you're thinking about what it could really look like under the permit, I mean, a daily rate could be like, could be that high.
I think even as thinking about the public education, what the MS4 requirements are.
Mhm.
Everyone, we throw it around a lot. I don't know all of them.
Yeah.
And so just educating the public on that
Right,
piece too.
right.
How do you bill? How do you bill for the utility?
So you mean just
Like
what?
Reading, where you, like, how do you?
So it's on our water and sewer bill. Yeah. So I was looking through the report that was done.
That's not gonna work for us, yeah.
You can't, I don't know if we talked about this before, but you can't put it on the tax bill.
Yeah, that's what we were
Yeah.
hoping.
Yeah, because I saw that was in there and I was like, I did find out that. And we've kind of vetted that a few times and talked to attorneys and definitely can't go on the tax bill. So you'd either have to put it, because not everyone has
What
sewer
about
in town.
as an insert, did we find out if that was?
Oh, like a separate
allowable?
item from the tax bill. Maybe we
Like,
talked about
probably
that.
not, but
I guess you could I would ask the legal counsel just to see if that's, if that would be acceptable, just to have that. Or is there anything else that's sent out?
To every house? No.
Yeah, not really, yeah. So
The
you'd be
census,
creating-
I just got my census for.
That's once,
Um,
right? So you're like, if you do want to just, bill quarterly or something.
I mean, if it's a separate bill. I just learned stamps are 78 cents.
Yeah.
I still mail some of my bills, yes.
I know,
Um,
it's not cheap, right, to even.
so if we end up having to do a separate mailing bill for billing, we may wanna think twice a year. Just
And we
the
had to discuss that.
overhead
Yeah.
and,
I can't
yeah,
remember, we decided quarterly didn't make sense, cause it was way too much overhead. Well, I can't remember.
if we can't combine it with something else, I mean, we can offer online, but obviously not everyone pays online, I don't pay everything online.
Right. And it does happen even for communities that have, most residents on water and sewer. I think there's still those instances where there's people that have, there's impervious surface area that you want to capture, that would require maybe a separate bill. But no, it is, definitely more effort in that sense. Trying to think of anyone. I feel like everyone's done like the water and sewer bill of some sort.
That makes
we
sense.
should ask
Yeah.
Adam Costa.
Yeah.
Find out if it can be.
I
an
think I
insert.
missed his office hours this month, maybe
No,
next
the
month I can
14th.
get on there. Oh, they're
I think the,
next week?
I believe
I'll have to
so.
look. What day of the week is that? Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Don't quote me on the 14th though. It's a Wednesday, but let me just look at that. An email just went out. Yeah, Wednesday, January 14th from 11 to 3. The email came out on Monday.
The link to the sign up sheet is there, right?
Yeah.
I can look to see,
Yeah.
unless someone else can go in person, I can't go in person. During the day,
Can you do this virtually?
I'm hoping. I think you can have a call with him.
Okay,
I don't know, I assume
there's
so.
still lots of slots open. I'm gonna throw anyone one?
No, I had to check my work calendar.
Okay. I think I'm gonna be in.
Unless somebody else is available to go actually meet with him.
What's the date?
The 14th, Wednesday, next Wednesday, 11 to 3.
He's open 10:40 and 20-minute increments until 1:20.
I should be able to, yeah. I'll sign up tomorrow.
Oh, thank you, Bill.
One of the things I was gonna say too, you're just talking about the why and like a better understanding of the permit. And it was funny, I was working with a community recently, Millbury, we were trying to, we were unsuccessful at town meeting with getting it passed last year. They kind of took some time off and then they wanted to kind of revisit it. And we were talking about like, we kind of had a little committee together. We pulled in another resident to kind of give a little more perspective and I thought he had some good points about like really having the why front and center, but making sure it really resonates with the public. And so the permit might not resonate as much with people, but thinking about, well, what is the meaning behind the permit is all about water quality and thinking about, I know someone mentioned this even at the town meeting about just receiving water quality where we swim, fish, boat, and that might better. And so trying to make that
Mhm.
connection kind of early on too, or the flooding impacts, it's always great. I know I had one client that had a culvert fail right around the time we were trying to get the utility passed and it made everything so inconvenient in town where people had to use different roadways to get around it. And then they kind of better understood like, oh, great, yeah, it'd be nice to have this funding available or to have been proactive. So that didn't get to the point where it failed, that culvert. Things like that. So I guess we always say like pictures of flooding or, just other concerns. And even when the utility gets implemented, people like to see, instead of thinking, oh, like permit compliance behind the scenes, like to see really visible projects so they can see their money kind of at work too. It's always great if we
Yeah,
can.
that's, I
put
got that in
something-
the budget, right? Couple
Yeah, do you
small
have some
projects,
project,
couple
yeah,
big
something front and
projects,
center and
do
how
some
funds are
engineering
being
for the
utilized.
project.
Absolutely. I think that goes a long way for support and stuff too.
So what are the like top 3 reasons why it fails in your experience?
Probably lack of public engagement, although I have to say, I had one community I worked with where we did some public meetings, they were not very well attended at all. We probably had 4 different public meetings and had no more than 10 people at each of those meetings. And it still passed, and I think, I don't know, the DPW director, to this day, he felt like this community had a town manager for like 25 years, the same town manager. And he got up there and he was saying like, we really need this, and he's like, yep, when he talks and says we need something, the public really trusts him, and so that for that community, I think even though the public engagement seemed lacking, like I said, we tried, we didn't get great attendance. A lot of the public engagement meetings, we really don't get the public information sessions, we don't, and it's
I think that's
unfortunate.
true here in
Yeah,
general.
it's unfortunate because then people have all these questions at town meeting and we were like, oh, we were happy to, engage. I wish we could have addressed those before getting to the town meeting floor, So I was also saying to Bill that it's nice that you have some, we were talking about this earlier, some people that seem to be kind of champions and really getting more of those champions on board to help educate the general public too, I think is helpful.
But what are like the top 3 issues that people bring up in opposition?
Of why they won't support
Yeah.
it. They talk about it being a tax. Thinking it's just another burden, financial burden, definitely. I think people just don't, I guess I feel like people, they care about water, they care about wastewater, those utilities, they're willing to like, fund and think are important. But stormwater, I think they don't see it as like another utility with all of its associated infrastructure. 'Cause to me, it just seems like if you really saw it that way, you'd think it's very straightforward that, funding's needed for that. So I think, and a lot of people, there's a lot of misconception about, people are really confused, right? They don't know, they see the catch basins in the street, they put stuff down it, they think it goes to it's part of the sewer system. So there's others, just sometimes some general education we've talked about is helpful even in that presentation, like this is a completely separate system, that needs the same level of care and maintenance that our other systems need as well. Trying to think what else, has been an issue. Trying to think back to that town meeting and things, like I said, I was saying before that someone, I mean, must have read like a 2-page, 3-page report about why this person in particular was against kind of the utility, and some people are more happier to see it come out of the tax base. And we,
Operating budget.
yeah, we've tried to see, like, show them how it impacts you differently. And I think
That will come
residents
up.
get hit harder.
That has come up.
So I think
Yes.
having a slide to kind of demonstrate that, I think is helpful, so we can put that together, that shows kind of the impact. Well, what are residents, a single family homeowner, going to be paying under the utility versus what are they gonna be paying under the general fund to raise the same amount of funding?
It's not that much. I don't think it's that much.
Yeah, well, I think it
Cause
hits,
a lot of his money comes
Yeah.
from chapter 90 money,
yeah,
comes from capital, and there is a line item in the budget for stormwater
yeah,
now.
yeah,
So all
So
we're
you're
doing is
directly
asking for
some money.
a little delta, which
Yeah.
is not in close to the original budget, when you add all those things together,
right.
so that he can meet his requirements.
Well, it's a good point about the chapter 90. That was actually a selling point in one community, because they were talking about how, like, they were using chapter 90 funds for drainage. And if they didn't have to use those funds for drainage, they could be doing more sidewalk work, more paving work annually. And they actually have been able to demonstrate how much more work they're able to do now, that those chapter 90 funds can be fully allocated. And
So,
not-
yeah, a couple of things about chapter 90. I'm nervous about counting on it going forward.
yeah.
How much we'll get.
Yeah,
And also, we may have to use that for some of our pavement management.
Probably all of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you might not
Our-
have that as a source. So that's another.
Why do you
point.
think it's gonna-
Be really careful with.
Why do you think it's gonna atrophy?
We had a big pavement management line in the operation budget. It got cut more than half. It's probably gonna get cut again.
Yeah.
So more of the chapter 90 money is gonna have to go to
Because
paving.
we need that money in the operating budget
Yeah,
for other.
And I think that's, I think it, like, people don't realize that the money's not protected, right? If something else comes up,
Well, in chapter 90 is
You're
not
gonna-
predictable.
right? Chapter 90 is not predictable.
yeah, it's been
You
like
need
this
it for other
like
things,
the last 12 years.
right? And
The
if
last couple of years has been a boost,
Yeah.
but is that gonna
Right.
maintain?
right, you can't count on it.
We've
long
lost
term. I
other
think that's the
funding,
message.
right? So, I mean, I don't know.
Right, no, I agree, and I think that's been a message that you can't count on it for stormwater long term. And I think, the stormwater money, if it's in the operating budget or in the general fund, is just more at risk. It's not protected the way it is under the utility, so. And we've seen it happen, we've seen, like, oh, it has to be under that, and then the first thing that gets cut is the stormwater budget, so.
So I have a question. Someone brought up at the town meeting that sharing resources with other towns is an option.
Yeah.
Do other towns do that, or does everybody like to do it on their own?
I know Bill was asking about that. I've seen
Good question.
some communities, I was gonna say, as far as like consulting services, I know I have 2 clients that they do their training together. So, they try to share, different requirements where they can, meeting those requirements together jointly.
Right,
So that's
but
definitely,
not sending
that's a small thing.
$500,000 truck. to
Right,
the other town.
that's small. I do feel like I remember there's a community that does shares equipment, vehicle with a neighboring community. So I'll have to go back and ask around about that. I don't think it's common. It's something people think about
If there's
doing.
a
but-
very expensive vehicle that's in your capital budget that you want to support the utility. Does it make sense to talk to our neighbors and see if that's an option to share their resource?
Or
It's
lease
tough though,
instead of.
because, or I guess if you're leasing, but like who takes on the notes? and-
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So,
Like I know the
Can
street
we lease it or
sweepers,
can we contract it out?
rather than buy a $250,000 vehicle to sweep the streets.
That would come up.
Who are I'm just trying to think without a map in front of me, like who all your neighbors are that you.
Townsend, Fitchburg, Leominster,
uh,
Shirley.
yeah, and hair, is air touch. No, Shirley's in the middle.
Yeah,
They're
there's
near
not far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's reasonably close.
Leominster, Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Lancaster, yeah. Yeah, Devon's one of our clients. Devon's is kind of
Yeah.
a
that's-
quasi municipality,
Yeah,
a little bit of
yeah.
a different, yeah. Fitchburg actually is a client that we have a proposal before right now for a stormwater utility. It's
Oh, they don't have one yet?
No, they don't, but something there. I think they did a little bit of an
I
analysis.
thought they
of
voted
some
in November, I think I thought they had something. That's Stormwater.
stormwater utility.
Yeah,
They definitely tried to get something a while back, but it never, I don't know if it ever even got to the town meeting.
okay.
So.
Maybe a
Well,
bylaw.
our street sweeper.
I just saw somebody complaining
We
about
do.
it on Facebook, so.
Oh, about it again.
So what is the duty of this street sweeper? So how much does it get used? How many days a year does it get used?
Yeah, not enough, so they don't have enough bodies to put in it.
Oh, so the issue is the
So I'm not, I
personnel.
wanna say it out loud, but that was four, are not quite there. And we have a catch basin clamshell truck, that didn't move at all this year.
Just didn't have
But
anybody
it
to
had
operate.
bodies.
This time. So, yeah, so I saw that, well, I actually was looking at your year 6 report. I think you had sent me a while back. I don't know that I saw the year 7 one that was just submitted, but it looked like, yeah, you did maybe like 300 and something basins, I think, in year 6, right?
Yeah.
So, and it looks like you're
Yeah,
not
that's
currently
the same.
collecting like the data needed, right, to determine the 50% full requirement. Are you collecting measurements electronically and recording that information yet, or for each of the
So-
catch basins?
How do we collect it? The guy puts down 1 scoop, 2 scoops.
Okay, it's not, yeah.
Yeah.
The metrics that you need, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of. No, but I mean.
The reasons?
Yeah.
And the street sweeping, right, because you're required to do it twice per year in the Nash River watershed, it sounds like that's one thing, right, you're not currently doing, yeah.
We're not even close.
Trying to think about that, yeah. I'll definitely ask around though, I do know that there's an example of precedent with a few communities, at least 2 communities sharing a piece of equipment, I just can't remember, it's been a while, so. See if I can find out some information on that, I feel like a lot of communities would be, if you can work out the logistics, which I know can be a little complicated.
Yeah,
I think they would be on board with something like that,
but you still have to provide your own staff, your own driver.
Yeah.
So you still need the body,
So-
hire the body.
We just negotiated the intermunicipal agreement with Lemonster like 2 years ago to send all our wastewater there.
Yeah,
And we asked if, we could use their vector truck. They didn't even want to entertain it,
Okay, interesting.
why? Did they say why?
because they don't want to send their $1 million truck over to us. Right? They don't want to get it broken over here or whatever.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Want to borrow someone's log splitter, they say nope.
Yeah,
I've lent it out before and got broke.
right.
That's disappointing, that's what it is.
I think one person had mentioned something about like, a little about like a regional type of concept, which we don't have any regional utilities in Massachusetts, but there are some in other parts of the country, and I think even in Maine, there's a few communities that jointly come together. And I was trying to think a little bit more about how that operates. I think it's a larger community and a smaller one, where they pay in. But it does make it a little more complex. I know there's other, Connecticut was looking at a regional utility concept, but which might have like 8 communities in it, so it's kind of interesting.
So. I've had some very just brief conversations with town manager. And she suggested engaging the public with an informational session soon. I don't know. So under contract, we have 2 public presentations with you, is that
So-
right?
So I think it's technically 3. So we have one, we build it as like one meeting to exchange information with different organizations. So and then we had 2 in-person public presentations to like a wider. So I guess technically initially I would be like, oh, are the in-person public presentations like to the finance committee, to the select board? And maybe the meeting is more targeting like a public information session. And when we've done stuff where we've targeted the senior center a lot, I feel like in different communities, we seem to get some, bring some people in through that. Or if there's other local groups you can think that we can somehow, you know,
I'm thinking to what Matt did for the MBTA communities.
Mhm.
So he had a informational session. One in the evening, I think, and one during the day.
Into that
Yeah.
effect.
And it's either like at the library or the senior
yeah,
center.
exactly,
And,
exactly.
and it's recorded, like PAC records it. So
Yeah.
it's on our YouTube channel, so. I went to the one I was able to go to. There were only a handful of people,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of people watch.
Launch it after that, yeah, exactly.
Um. So I think in general, people try to target, daytime and
Yeah.
after work.
We
try to
done
hit,
that, yeah.
you're not gonna get
audiences.
everybody, and my experience is like the master plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people showed up? Not many.
Uh,
Maybe at Smokestack they did. Or
Our first one was pretty successful.
Yeah.
Everything after that was
Yeah.
not good.
So I view like those public information, education, whatever, feedback sessions, I don't know, whatever buzzword you wanna use. I think you are more likely to hear from the public at those than at like presentation of income.
Okay.
Like someone just, a resident coming and sharing their comment.
Yeah.
And feedback during a FinCom presentation.
Right,
Um, or planning board or something. So I view those as two separate purposes.
I was just thinking with one community, I remember there was a lot of chatter on Facebook, like it was
Oh, there's
blowing up
always-
Facebook, but then nobody was coming to the meeting.
Yeah, there's
So, like,
always, I'm giving
help
up
with that
Facebook.
connection a little bit,
That's
yeah.
my New Year's resolution.
Like, yeah,
Yeah. So. And then there's obviously town meeting. I don't know
yeah.
if you would present there or.
I have
just
presented
run
at
around.
town meeting before, yeah. I was saying in Millbury, we did a joint presentation I did with the finance director at the time.
We don't have one of those. Yeah. So. I don't know, what are you guys thinking, like, as far as when to start engaging the public, when to even consider bringing an article forward?
Your town meeting's May 2nd, right? So it's
May 4th.
May 4th.
Is it, no, May 2nd? I don't know, it's the first, what's the first Saturday?
For Saturday, okay, yeah.
Do we put the framework in place and then come with do it separately, like you mentioned that one town did? Or do we go all at once?
I guess I was thinking if you're hedging about whether this is the right time, given the other funding needs. And then override, obviously, then maybe kind of just doing something like gingerly, like, kind of introducing a bylaw, and the enabling legislation, but not actually, maybe following up at Springtown meeting, or not fall town
Fall,
meeting, um,
So we did that with the schools, right? It passed, but it wasn't without some discussion, of establishing a fund that could be used for like, what is it? Out of district placement.
Yeah.
Not putting any money, not talking about the mechanism to fund the fund or withdraw from the fund, just that opening an account, basically.
Yeah.
That passed, but it was close.
yeah,
And this is essentially what we're talking about with this. Establishing the framework of utility without setting the tiers and the rates and the triggering any kind of payment from residents.
does this need, I'm just trying to remember, 2/3 or a majority? How does it, just majority, or does it have to be a 2/3 vote to pass? What we've seen. I thought maybe
For the
2/3.
utility, like for
Yeah.
everything or just for the,
Well, I guess depending on, what we're putting forth.
because if there's no money involved, but it's not a money,
Yeah, if you're,
I don't know. And there's differences, whether it's, for some things, there's a difference in annual town meeting and special town
Okay,
meeting.
in terms of that,
Sometimes, for some things.
if you were putting forth like the budget for approval, is the budget like a majority vote and budget? Cause I'm assuming this, once you put the stormwater budget, it would be similar.
I'll ask Ed of Costa.
Yeah,
Jen knows all of this.
Sure.
There was something we were talking about putting on the consent calendar once. And it would trigger it was a 9/10, so everything else there would be 9/10.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember, I'm
So
blanking
there's
on what that
different- yeah.
was. Yeah, there's majority, supermajority, and even 9/10 sometimes.
Okay, interesting. So it just depends on
Yeah,
what they,
Oh,
what's
that's
being
good.
put forth. So I guess, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he says about it. If we're just putting forth like the bylaw, the enabling
and
legislation.
special versus annual,
Okay.
because I know like citizens petitions requires more signatures in the special town meeting than annual. It's crazy, I can't keep these things straight.
It was just, yeah, kind of, like someone brought up, why can't we fund that, so I think we want to walk through like other funding considerations, obviously. And how we've gotten to kind of this point, telling that story, I think will be helpful.
The why for stormwater
Yeah, so the
utilities.
Yeah.
important.
But I think some education too might be helpful if you think it's appropriate about the separate systems and why, we really see the stormwater system as kind of the neglected utility, like. And I think that's the biggest issue, that most communities don't even know the condition of most of their drainage infrastructure, because, it just hasn't been given the time and attention for so many years, and so.
Right, I have like 0 plans,
Right, for that, yeah, don't have
so we're doing,
knowledge
we
of
got
it,
a grant for asset management, so we're kind of mapping it now, but,
right,
you know.
What
So
do you
if it's
guys
over
think?
100 years old, it should be mapped somewhere.
right, exactly.
It's not.
When, if we could have two public information education sessions, when would we want to do that?
Probably sooner. Rather than later. February, is that too soon?
Yeah, sometime in February. Probably before the school vacation, I would think, because people go away for school vacation, so.
Maybe if we get them after though, they'll be. In a better mood than being.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true.
What week is,
16th,
Yeah.
the school
Gotcha.
vacation week.
And then besides the public engagement, like a meeting or something, we should probably think about putting the word out there, like flyers or something, little posters up. We can put things up at like, the pizza place or the convenience store, just anywhere there's a public board where you can say, put stormwater and just a little blurb or
Library.
something, the library, the coffee shop, wherever.
Someone can post on Instagram, whoever posts the stuff on
We
Instagram.
can get Kara to post it on the town's.
Yeah. Yeah, just a quick
Eric.
educational thing, like,
Take
why
care of
is
it.
stormwater important? Just so it's in people's face.
The ledger. Yeah, that'll cost money.
And we did have
Much
a
stuff,
flyer
yeah.
brochure that we were gonna produce as part of our.
Okay.
Our scope, so, I mean, traditionally, we put maybe a little more information on it, so I guess we should just talk about how much, we wanna.
Yeah, I was just saying that as an
But yeah,
example, but
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. So is that, and getting that frequently asked questions document out there, which we can certainly add to as time goes on and we get, more questions and stuff too. It's nice to have those materials available, I guess, obviously at the public information session, so you can be
Mhm.
distributing that document as needed.
And I think everything should go on the town website too.
Yeah.
Cause we have a page, right?
Set up,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have a page that you would set up for just the utility? I know you have a stormwater page, I didn't know.
No, it's just the DPW page.
Okay, DPW, just kind of link from there.
There's a stormwater task force page, I think.
There
Under boards
is.
and commissions, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, on the website.
I can't
Yeah,
look at it.
yes.
I can't look at our website when I'm here.
Why?
Because somebody didn't put a pointer record on the server here.
Yeah, it blocks me.
Yeah, it's a very easy fix, but I don't know, nobody's doing it.
Can I access it? No.
It gets confused when you're here and the local domain has the same name as the domain.
But it works in town hall. I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
Must be on a different server here. I'm guessing.
I don't know. And every once in a while, I can't get on the town website.
Great.
I gotta call IT.
All right.
one thing you mentioned, we talked a little bit about, commercial and non-residential properties. I mean, they're not, unless they're residents as well, obviously, they're not voting members at town meeting. But we have done targeted like chamber of commerce, that type of thing to get some information out about the utility to those audiences as well. And in one community, I remember there was concern about, driving businesses out because of the utility tech, so, there was discussion about, we looked at it like a declining block rate structure, which kind of capped how high those fees would get for those entities. But on the same vein, then it kind of puts a little more on the residential side too. I just didn't know how big of an issue you thought that might be. Or concern on that. And I don't know, is the tax rate the same right now for resident? Okay, so it's not like you have a.
Mm-mm.
If you see that being, something of concern. It was funny. I know one
Well, we
community.
heard one business owner who is a resident.
Okay.
But-
Yeah. One community was funny. They were concerned because there was a mall in town and they didn't want the mall to so they were trying to limit what the mall had to pay, but then it was a mall that owns a ton of malls in the area. It's like, oh, in this other community, they're paying actually a lot more than they've been paying. So I was like, and they haven't said anything about it, or made any, I think it's more maybe the smaller businesses that are more concerning,
Mhm. What did we decide about multifamily?
Like you had, I
Arrive,
think you were doing double,
Well, I think
double the,
Arrive is more than a multifamily.
well, yeah.
Well, not on the GIS though, it has a weird, we should probably ask about that, 'cause I don't know if that's what's going to drive the amount, but Arrive on our GIS is something very strange, I forget what it was, but it looks like it didn't pay taxes, it was weird. But yeah, so we didn't really figure out the multifamily
I think
thing.
in here you talked about double for the multifamily, but I don't know if that was just a thought or if that was actually part of the,
Yeah, this is what I'm looking at. Double
Okay.
multifamily.
yeah.
cause the bill would probably go to the property owner.
Right. Or but the
So
multifamily
it
is.
depends if it's a
Yeah.
rental, it'd be one owner, but if it's two,
Good of whoever pays the taxes. I'd say, I think that's kind of what we decided was, say it's a multifamily that has two owners, so like the,
yeah,
duplex.
yeah,
There's two owners, it would,
Yeah.
each one would go to an owner,
whereas if
because
it's
technically they each own their own portion of it.
one owner who rents out to two people, it goes, he gets
Just to the owner.
billed once.
Yeah,
Interesting.
but it's still, it's the same property with the same,
Yeah. It's a
amount
little
of-
bit different, I guess, if it's condoized, right?
Yeah.
But I guess that could still too be under, I know it gets really dicey with some of these things, because the one thing to think about, we've done a little bit of analysis on, is if you have a huge condo complex where you have individual owners, like do you bill each owner as a single family, or do you bill the complex based on their impervious surface area? And we've kind of looked at it both ways just to see the difference in how much revenue would be generated.
Should go for
Usually-
the one that generates the more.
Usually it's more if you build them each individually, less if you look at them collectively. I mean, it depends. on
Makes
the
sense to
impervious
me as
surface
each
area.
individual, cause they're residents of the town.
it's tough with condo, I guess collectively they do own all the space around it through the association.
Right.
With condos, I think a lot of times, people are kind of stacked on top of each other and it's
Right, it's not
a
as
weird sell.
Do we have that here?
I don't think so.
I
Well,
don't think so.
no, only the apartment complexes, but those are
Rent,
rentals.
Right, so it's more straightforward with those. You're just gonna treat them as a.
I like the idea of doing each condo owner individually. They live in the town, they use the
see,
roads,
this is fun.
that's why I'm here.
Um,
I mean, I think we talked about Shrewsbury. I mean, they've been billing parcels that have no impervious surface area. $50 flat fee. But I did get some feedback from them recently and they were like, yeah, it was such a headache to build them. It's not worth it. It's not worth the little revenue we generate through that process. But they're the only community I know that was billing like everyone.
it did come up once under a certain, someone brought it up. I think it was someone from CI, maybe under a certain square footage. You're not billed.
Right. Yeah, usually like it's like 100 or 200, a small amount, we usually have kind of set up a minimum kind of threshold.
Okay. So what do we do now?
Pick a date. For February. And then start trying to work.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking maybe late February might be a little bit better.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
'cause
after vacation.
just so we have time to.
Yeah,
kind of
cause
revisit
I'm
the fee
thinking, what are we
structure.
gonna present?
We need to
Yeah,
have maybe a meeting, another
Okay.
meeting this month. And then maybe. February.
We have to try to get a room, put pack lined up. Just one. We have one and then spread it out and have one closer to,
that's what I was
The
kind of
town
thinking. I
meeting?
mean, sometimes you don't wanna wait till it's like too close, cause then it's like, oh, we're just bringing, but then if it's too far away, it's maybe not feeling as relevant, too much time passes like in between. So it might not be a bad idea to do one in February and one in March or something and spread them out a little bit. Knowing your town meetings in early May.
are we going to,
Maybe they're just me.
we gonna present in May? You guys, we're gonna have an override,
Yeah,
count on it.
sure.
I like the idea of doing the bylaw now. And the budget later.
Cause we have, this has to be in place for a year before you can start doing anything, to get the money to start implementing your budget, get equipment, get personnel,
Yeah.
whatever. So the first year, you're just collecting money and nothing's happening.
Pretty
Right.
much.
Well, it's hard to get everything up and running. So yeah, if it's
Yeah.
passes that town meeting and, you know, in some communities are like, oh, I wanna roll out bills July 1st, but it's, I mean, that's a whole nother animal, I feel like, and
Oh.
where you're having billing concerns, right, you know, already thinking about how you're gonna bill. I think, yeah, probably take a little while. Or at least I'd say like January before you get billed out if you voted, you know, in May.
So we're now looking at FY 27, so would billing would kick in FY 28. Is what we'd be targeting.
Right.
And if we went with an article just on the framework of the utility. In May and it didn't pass, we could do both of them in the special in the fall.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Depends on how badly it didn't pass and why.
Yeah.
If that can be addressed in this, however many months between.
So we need to have the bylaw ready just by that March 16th date when the warrant closes, and then after that, can you tweak it a little bit after that, or it should be
The
set?
motion can be, yeah,
Okay.
so the actual motion.
Oh, would that have to happen on town meeting floor then if you made changes, or how does that work?
No, we get the motions before town meeting. It can be amended on the floor.
Okay, it could be amended on the floor, but
But the
motion's-
final motion,
Okay,
town council reviews
okay,
and gives
right,
us
that's what I was
the,
gonna say, 'cause
yeah.
would you have to have, I mean, presumably you'd want town council to review it before March 16th if possible, put something like
Yeah.
that and provide feedback. And we could put something together fairly quickly, just, I mean, obviously, you know, just based on what we've done for.
So what would it what would it say? Like, what would it encompass?
So I wish I should have brought an example from Concord. Just kind of, it's not really that long. I mean, the one that we did for Concord, I think was like a couple pages that we worked with them on. Just kind of high level kind of framework. You know, the kind of the intent, the purpose of the utility. It does talk a little bit about how fees are going to be assessed. I mean, it doesn't talk about a rate structure, you know, you want to leave flexibility, so you're
Yeah,
not,
right,
you know, it's a
right.
little bit open-ended.
So this is
Um,
it's a bylaw, cause
Right, it is
we're
a
reviewing
bylaw.
our bylaws right now.
Yeah, it is a bylaw, yeah. I'm trying to think, Shrewsbury did it a little differently. I remember they snuck in the language, the enabling legislation into their stormwater bylaw. And then they ended up adopting separate rules and regulations. That were more detailed though. I think if we keep the bylaw high level, then you know, it's not something you necessarily have to go back to, but it does outline like how what the money is gonna be spent on, you know, at a high level, covering all the stuff that we talked about. Who has the rate setting authority? I don't know if you've thought about that. Like, so after, you know, obviously every year you're gonna go before town meeting to get the budget passed. But if you want to change the rate, you know, some communities are like, oh, I don't want to have to go back to, you know, I guess town meeting, and normally you wouldn't really go to town meeting, I guess, to set the rate. Usually, I'm trying to think, like for Shrewsbury, I know it's the sewer commission that sets the rate. So that's through a public meeting that would be held. Um,
Yeah, so,
How do you do it?
well, yeah, the
I
sewer
think I
commission does
recommended
it.
a commission.
Yeah,
they
we
take on the
Yeah.
stormwater, I guess, is the question, and
Well,
is that a little bit of a?
probably
yeah,
not. Probably not. I was thinking this committee would probably dissolve and we'd
Yeah.
come up with a stormwater committee.
Yeah, that would, okay, that could take, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what we were talking about in another community, is having a separate stormwater committee, but then they were like, oh, you know,
So I need a bylaw to create the committee too.
yeah,
um.
yeah, that'd be fine.
Go for it.
One community I know made like the town administrator kind of the rate setting authority, which is kind of interesting. Um. There's no like board of public works, right, or anything
No.
separate, okay, just the sewer commission. So, yeah. Yeah, I know in one committee we had talked about trying to get the sewer commission to kind of take it out too, because we felt like it made sense, but then there was just concern about whether they'd have kind of the expertise to kind of, but then we were like, well, they kind of are guided by, you know, the director. And other town officials, but yeah, I haven't worked with a community that set up a stormwater committee to be the rate setting authority, but it was something we talked about at length with another community recently, so it's definitely.
Do we have, how
something
many
about-
sewer hookups? Not many.
About 1,000.
And how many, and you have like over 4,000 parcels? or-
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's only maybe 25%. And then water, there's no, it's all, is it?
Separate water district.
Yeah,
Okay,
separate from the
water
town.
district, okay,
Yeah.
all right, that's the other thing, okay,
I mean, some people have wells, but not everyone's
Right.
on.
but yeah, separate, okay.
I think they have 2,500 connections, I wanna say,
I don't know.
I think,
Okay,
for some reason.
the reason will say I do like the bylaw, the way that Concord approached it. I felt like it was very transparent, right? And it was, because some people are like, oh, what is a stormwater utility? And maybe they're, you know, might come to town meeting not even knowing because they didn't listen in on all the background. So I felt like the information that was included was very informative and it was just transparent. This is what we're trying to do. And then, you know, they had a presentation that I did not help with that town meeting. They went along with it though, that kind of, you know, kind of explained stuff. We helped them work on the presentation. So I think it was kind of like a nice kind of stepping stone rather than trying to like throw it all out there and having it be shot down. But. it's a
Yeah, I
little
think
bit
I'll,
of a
cause the
process.
more I'm thinking about this, the bylaw and the committee, there's a lot
Yeah,
that goes in, and transparency is important.
yeah, and I think it sends a message that the town isn't trying to rush anything. We're thinking through this is what it looks like, and you know, it's an opportunity to ask questions, and you could still have even after, you know, after town meeting, I guess. I mean, at that point, you know, you pass it, but there's still not a commitment until there's an actual budget before them for a vote. So, you know, some communities have passed that enabling legislation, like even Millbury technically did, but they technically are collecting 0 fee. So there's an enterprise set up where they put like other funds in it, but they're not collecting anything from the public. But because their budget didn't pass, so
The actual utility.
right, so they technically have like an enterprise that did pass, but they're not collecting a fee at this point because they can't get the budget to pass, so.
I think I like that statement approach. What do you guys?
Especially where you're concerned about other funding, you know, needs and stuff that,
Yeah. Um. Do we think it's realistic to have that ready for March 16th?
the bylaw. I think we can, I mean, I think that, you know, given that, you know, we're kind of just pulling from what we know has been successful in other communities and trying to tailor it a little bit to the town. I think we could put together a draft, probably by the end of the month to circulate.
Do you think we get public feedback on it
On the actual bylaw.
before?
I guess that's
We
the other
submit the
question.
article.
I'm trying to think about the whole bylaw process. Maybe that's another question for the attorney, because I'm trying to think, like, you're right. Initially, if we're gonna develop a new bylaw, then we're gonna have like, there has to be a public hearing, right?
No.
Associated, or no?
No.
Doesn't, okay. Okay, does there have to be any public, I mean, we're having public meetings anyway.
We
but-
should have public.
Okay.
engagement.
So you're thinking like an opportunity, and I'm trying to remember who
Yeah.
did that, Concord, where you're distributing the bylaw, making it available to the public as a draft for input prior to town meeting, or?
I think sharing it, but having them a open meeting that they can come and give feedback.
Okay,
And that could be that information.
as part of those
session.
information, what do you
Yes.
think about pushing the information sessions back a little bit and doing those both in March? Do you think they should be done? I guess that's the other
Before
question.
March 16th.
Do they need to be done before March 16th, before the warrant closes, right? Because if we're gonna make updates to the bylaw, we wanna do it before. The warrant
I mean,
closes.
ideally, that's the case, like with a late February one, it gives us time to take in some information,
Yeah,
take in some
okay.
feedback
Yeah.
and adjust.
Cause that's, you have public hearings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or planning board, what do I call them?
Hearings? Oh, applications.
No, like when they did the MBTA communities, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah,
Info sessions.
Yeah, but what was that article?
the MBTA community.
Well, that was different. That wasn't a bylaw. That was just,
Yeah,
the compliance thing. But there was something else.
I can't recall.
Oh, the impervious area, something about, the driveways, the concrete, come on, what's the name for asphalt? Bituminous, yeah.
It was concrete.
I couldn't think of it. Yeah,
Well, they call it that.
there was that article.
I don't know if I
In the
remember
fall.
that. Oh.
It was a very
Yeah.
minor change to an
Yeah.
the existing code or whatever, the requirement, like instead of 3 inches, 2 inches, I don't know.
But not, wasn't it, I think they allowed that you didn't have to use bituminous, you could use other
Some-
materials.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't remember.
So what do we think? We have another meeting at the end of the month or the very beginning of February to go over the draft, and what do we need to do to set up a public info session or meeting? Who do we contact about that?
Well, we need a
Location.
location and a
Sure.
date that works, right?
And then if we wanna
Good
record
thinking.
it, we have to coordinate with PAC.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's easy enough. So we're thinking one during the
And get
day,
it, advertised.
like at the senior center or something? Probably the best place,
Senior center or library?
Libraries and
Yeah.
rooms
yeah.
can accommodate 50 people or more, yeah.
And when's the library close? They're available sometimes in the evenings, cause we've had.
Yeah, they're meeting rooms that make available past normal library hours.
Do we wanna do this during the day or evening, the first one?
Just weekday or weekend?
Or weekday or weekend?
Weekday, my recommendation, you get the people that are working, wanna show up after they get home from work,
A weekday evening?
just a suggestion.
Well, that makes the most sense for working people.
We don't
And-
have kids going
Can
to
people pay the bill?
basketball practice or something.
Yeah. Daytime
Daytime's for seniors.
for seniors,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can have 2 sessions, one.
I think we
One day,
need
one
to,
night.
but
Senior center.
we only get 2, so which one do we do first?
Do you still wanna do that other select board finance committee meeting too? Or I don't know if that could even be a joint meeting, or if they do
I
any
think
joint
that can be a
sessions.
joint.
joint session, okay, that might hold. And the timing of that too, I guess, just thinking about, I mean, that sounds like that needs to be done before the 16th as well, right?
It's gonna be next to impossible to, I think, get them. Finance committee is gonna start meeting every week now. Huh?
Do you wanna try to do it in a tri?
I would, but that doesn't have planning board.
Hmm.
I thought about tri-board. There's one in plan.
I also
I don't know how
wonder-
much longer we'll be doing them because all the other meetings are gonna start up soon.
I also just wondered, is it important to go before finance select board before you do the public information sessions? Because there's any feedback you might get there gonna influence how things get rolled out from that.
I was thinking that it might
Yeah.
make sense to do that because people are watching those too and they can come up with questions.
Oh,
See,
Go to select board and FinCom before public.
yeah, the people who are watching that or see it, maybe come up with some questions or get some exposure there.
makes sense.
I don't know. I feel like I could argue either side of that.
Yeah.
I don't have a strong opinion on that one.
I think one of the messages from that the town meeting, the fall town meeting, a little bit from FinCom was like feeling like they were left out of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
So I'm just wondering if they're hearing like, oh, we're having public information sessions ready and they, that they, I don't know if that would go or not, just
Yeah.
along with.
What's out of this?
Were they left out though? It
Yeah,
didn't feel like
yeah,
There was nothing to, it was an update on
Yeah.
Stormwater, that was all. That doesn't.
yeah. Has there been, so with this study that was done, was there a presentation before select board or FinCom?
No.
As part of that, okay.
No.
So really, the only presentations that have been done, have they been at the
Updates.
town meeting or,
Yep.
and you've done updates to the select board on where you're at? Okay.
You haven't presented your budget
to select board?
to any, either board. Did you present it to
No.
FinCom? No. You did the chapter 90 budget, but not
Right.
Stormwater yet. And capital plan.
Yeah.
Mm,
With the Millbury, I remember, and granted, we weren't successful, that one's been a bad example, but I feel like we went before the select board probably like 3 different times initially, because they were providing feedback on the rate structure, and we were trying to get their buy-in, and they were trying to vote to even allow us to kind of keep moving things forward. It's the way it worked then, and then we did once we got their blessing to move forward, we kind of went to the public information sessions. The one unfortunate thing there was, which I do think is really important, is when we went to town meeting, the select board was like sitting up at town meeting in front of everybody. And they did not vote for the utility, and I was like, okay, that does not helpful, like, we had all these meetings, we thought we had gotten
I
your
heard about
support.
this.
And then to go before and to have them sit up there and everyone seeing that they're not voting, then obviously the public was following suit. So I do think getting them on board is, and it seems like maybe, I think only was it one select board member, right, that voted against? And the FinCom, like 2 were thinking, I mean, I don't know if that means the other ones are really strongly supporting it, or they're just not opposed to kind of exploring further, but.
That was in the book. Oh, for the
It was for
contract,
that,
that's, yeah,
and that wasn't even
yeah,
about, but it
yeah.
was about, yeah, so I'm just trying to
Oh,
think.
okay. Getting on the select board agenda shouldn't be a problem. To a standing meeting, the FinCom, I know their agenda is gonna get full soon with hearing budgets from departments and public hearings. I'm not saying it can't be done. I think it would be hard to get them together.
Mhm.
There is a tri-board meeting planned for January 27th.
Okay,
It has school, select board and FinCom, doesn't have planning. And school,
Yeah,
It's gonna be fun.
school's not really, relevant for stormwater, planning board's more.
Yeah.
Relevant, so.
how much overlap is there between the other, like, some of the other boards and planning? It seems like there might be, and I know we had some positive, right, I think one of the, was it? Like Matthew Brenner was an advocate, right, he was on the planning board.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so was Adam
Adam
Burney,
Burney,
so you
yeah.
have some good support there. I wonder if, sometimes like you think of like an ambassador, like somebody that like, okay, we're sharing information and they're bringing that.
try
to
and
the
do a lot
board.
of that on the planning. board.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like, it seems like you have, I don't know, do you feel like everyone, I'm just thinking 2 people here,
Sure.
like, are there do you feel like there's pretty general widespread support on the planning board or
Yes.
for the
yeah.
utility? Okay, so that's,
At least those who have spoken out have been in support.
Yeah, I mean, myself, Matt and Adam
Yeah.
have all specifically
Yeah.
voiced support for it.
I don't know if Amanda's.
I,
spoken.
I haven't spoken.
I don't
with her about
remember.
it.
I mean, there's nothing, they could come to a select board meeting,
Sure,
right.
um.
Would there be an option where you might consider inviting members of the select board or finance committee to this meeting? It sounds like sometimes they might come and drop in and maybe we could have a more in-depth discussion about their concerns.
Been
and the
finance
different-
committee's meeting right now. This
Okay,
conflicts
so
with
this
their
conflicts with theirs,
normal
okay.
time, yeah,
Okay, that's what you're, okay.
yeah,
I was just trying to.
although we are doing this meeting off schedule, so.
but they're Thursday,
Oh, they're just
yeah,
always Thursday.
well,
Are they every Thursday?
they're gonna start every Thursday, I can tell you maybe.
Can this meeting be moved or is it?
Yeah.
Fixed, okay.
I mean,
Yeah, again, so we're on Tuesday nights.
Chris sent something about
This
schedules.
also meets Tuesday
Okay.
nights. That's-
Okay.
That's how.
When does planning meet?
Every other Monday.
So, February 5th, FinCom is meeting, but he said something about weekly meetings, pretty sure. And I have a draft calendar for the public hearings, like, for budget season and all that, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to stick to it. Doesn't say. I really thought he said, I can't find it. Monty Tech is coming in February. Oh, let's see. Let me look at the draft. So we're looking in February, you think, or before this March 16th? So right now, the tentative schedule is. It looks like in February. The finance committee might be meeting every week. February 12th, 19th, yep, 26th, March 5th. So they'll be hearing, the plan is, and again, this is a draft plan. That they're gonna be hearing the different department budgets, every week through February.
Those are long meetings,
Yeah,
especially the 27th.
that's when you're going.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're going with police, fire and facilities. It's
What
when
is
does,
that?
when does school go? That's the long one, the 19th.
Before-
And then the public hearing is March 13th. So I think it's gonna be, it would have to be a different day
Sure.
for finance committee if you want in February. Unless we just do really preliminary in January with finance committee.
I mean, I guess the question is, I mean, I think the big things here are the budget, right? If that's gonna change at all. I guess the only thing I was thinking about with the budget it might be nice to have a couple different, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if it was, I don't know if they push back, like what items would we be willing to concede on at all or where, but then at the same time, I don't wanna go in with, you wanna ask for what you need at the same time too. But yeah, the budget and the rate structure.
That's probably the most relevant thing to present to finance committee,
Is the
right? The
budget,
only thing is the
getting the
budget,
feedback,
not the
yeah.
bylaw, really,
Okay,
right?
Right.
Sure.
And the rate structure, is that?
Well, we're not planning on bringing that forward. Yeah.
Right, you're not, but I didn't know if like, you know, cause you're not bringing the budget forward, but it's just starting to get the conversation going of what it's gonna look like to get feedback and use that as an opportunity to do so, I guess.
The budget is gonna drive the rate structure, right?
Right,
Cause
right,
that's like our
right,
target. We have to collect
right,
to match this
right.
budget. So
Right, no, absolutely. I guess it's
So-
really just about how you're collecting funds among the different.
but we could do that later.
But you
If we
could do
do
that,
that
right,
in the
right.
fall. If we
Yeah.
presented FinCom gets the budget. Right? And that could be done. Oh, can that be done in January? Um. Monty Tech is presenting on the 29th of January. I think Chris will let you go first. Hopefully. So. Yeah. Do you want me to ask Chris if you can get on finance committee agenda to present the stormwater budget? And you're jumping out of your seat with
Yeah.
excitement, aren't you?
This month?
I don't think you can get on in January. I mean, February
Yes, so this month. January.
29th. 3 weeks.
Good try.
Said 3 weeks. That was closer to 2.
Today's,
Today's
yeah.
the 8th.
That's 21 days.
So,
Yeah.
so,
Three
yeah,
weeks.
calendar days, calendar weeks. My brain is all mush from being on vacation.
Yeah, I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore. I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
Okay, so if we get that meeting set up for the 29th, then that gives our information to the finance committee. Then we have another meeting very early February. We go over the draft, what information we have. Then end of February, do a public info session.
When you want to present the select board?
Oh,
And
I don't
planning.
know. I forgot about them.
We can
Um,
invite Matt. We can invite planning to select board for that part.
Sure.
Have a joint,
Yeah, we can talk to Matt about that. I'm sure that shouldn't be a problem.
a Tuesday. It would be a Tuesday.
Sure. Yeah, I'm available on Tuesdays.
And even if there's not a quorum, doesn't have to be a joint, just
Yeah.
to be there for.
Representative.
Do we want to have another meeting before the 29th, or are we good?
I think for us, we don't need another meeting until after we have the draft and we have other meetings happening.
So does that mean we want to get? So. FinCom is just for the stormwater budget, select board would be for the bylaw.
Sure.
And the public information session is for all the above, whatever, education, stormwater, the why.
Yeah.
And there could be comments about the bylaw, I don't know.
Would the select board meeting be like the second week in February then?
It could be. I mean, it's just a matter of getting us on the agenda.
Okay. When did they
Or
meet?
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays, okay.
Would that
I'm
be
just thinking-
after the FinCom meeting?
If we get FinCom, if we can get on the FinCom meeting on the 29th.
Then it would be in sometime in March.
January 29th.
January
Oh,
29th.
January 20th.
Bill's in a rush. Let's get going this month.
Yeah, that's good.
So. January 29th. This is all pending, confirmation. FinCom, stormwater, budget. And then we have, let's just say early and late February. For select board and public session, and I don't care the order.
So I was just thinking, so if we did February 10th for the select board meeting. Because I know we talked about trying to get in front of the select board before the public information session.
Okay.
I know the week of the 16th is the school vacation week.
Yep.
I know I'll be away that week, and then we have the week of the 23rd. So the first public info session maybe would be the week of the 23rd then?
I mean, and that doesn't have to be a Tuesday. The public info
Right, that
session
could
can
be
be
Yeah,
whenever. So that's,
And we could either do the one during the day that week or the one in the evening. I don't know if you have a preference which one you want to do first, but I'm almost thinking you might have one week and then maybe one the next week, that first week in March. Because you're trying to get those both in before the warrant closes, right?
or do we want to reserve one of the public meetings for the fall town meeting when we're talking? If the bylaw passes,
Yeah,
even if it doesn't pass, bring it forward again in the fall with the fee structure.
What would be the outcome from the FinCom meeting? Would it be, they vote on something or would it just be informational session? For the benefit-
They're advisory, so they could. They would advise, they will have a. So this gets tricky. If the article is just about establishing a bylaw, not the fee. I would say it's not a money, a direct financial impact article, which FinCom does not. They don't vote, they vote to approve or not approve moneyed articles, right? So I would say that it's, their opinion would be no financial impact, so they basically pass over.
So we'll
But-
present the budget to them on January 29th.
I think we should. The earlier we engage with them, the better.
Okay, sure.
And they may decide, well, it's a bylaw, it doesn't today have financial impact, but it does down the road. So they, like the personnel committee, they voted on. So I think this finance committee would
I think they
have
can
an
vote.
opinion. Yeah. I think it's on our best interest to present the budget.
Okay. Do you feel really so comfortable with your budget? Stand by every line item?
Let's, we could talk about it a little bit.
yeah,
Wouldn't hurt. The reason I say it is because I know who's on the committee. And I've worked with them where I work, and I know they're gonna be a bit. Stubborn.
Mhm.
So what are the line items? And then we're gonna, is this the same budget the percentage was before?
Yeah,
Something like a $1 million budget?
right, but some of it's one-time purchase.
Well, you're gonna spread that out over several years.
They will bring up chapter 90. How much of this can be funded at chapter 90? That will come up.
Right? Only projects, none of the maintenance.
So
So this says. what
I think we
want,
have to, we
but It
will,
doesn't say where the money's coming from, right? Is that true?
This assumes it's all stormwater utility.
Okay, so this is saying what the money is that's required to support your utility. Does it say what the money's coming from, or is that different?
But this assumes it's all coming from the utility.
Okay,
one thing we've done before is I guess just a couple comments. I'm thinking, would it be helpful to do like a 5-year projection out? To see
Yeah.
what, you know, because I mean, some of these, like you said, are
Yeah.
one-time purchases, so how that would flesh
Mhm.
out. And then the other thing we've done before is putting how some of this is currently being funded. But some of it, it's not being funded at all, right? So making that clear, like, oh, wow,
Right.
look at this, and 75% of this we don't have funding for, and the rest of it is coming from, you know, if we're gonna say chapter 90 and why that's
I
not
think it's
gonna
nice
work
to see
going.
exactly where the money's coming from. Chapter
Yeah.
90 was a big, big piece of it, like almost half of it, if I remember correctly.
For projects.
Yeah.
Only.
Okay, and then, and the residential component and the commercial component, if I remember correctly, was only like 30 to 40% of the total budget. So I think that's nice information to have.
So you-
That kind of suggests that the residential burden is not that great, and the state is helping us out a lot.
Well, I saw this in the spreadsheet that you sent over, so this had the budget and then it had the breakdown. It does say 400,000 chapter 90. What is? I guess that's 9 third, where does that? I was assuming this
Yeah.
came from the utility and how you were looking how the money you're raising would be appropriated among those different audiences. But then now I'm looking, oh, the chapter
Right.
90, did you think that you might still use chapter 90 to cover some of this, or? We're below
Yeah.
that 400,000, but so maybe is that the 300,000 here? And
Look,
it would
it's
be engineering, though, yeah,
two separate spreadsheets then.
maybe there's more to this one and I
We
missed
had
it,
talked about
Yeah.
it maybe 6 to 8 months ago,
okay.
and he presented that budget to us last year sometime. And then went, oh, yeah, so we went around the table and discussed where's the money coming from, and it came crudely from those four sources.
Yeah.
The line item, and if you might remember, you went through the town budget and there's like a line item for like $150,000 today for stormwater mitigation.
Okay.
And that would be complemented with the residential fee. To get it up to that 300,000 from the residents. So the delta for the residents is not that much.
The line item in the operational budget would pretty much go away.
Yes, I would. So that money would become available to the town to
Yeah.
do other things with. So really, this might look like a $3 additional tax to residents, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's actually a $30 increase into the town's budget. Half of it's gonna go to the utility and the other half's gonna go back to the town. That's the way I always viewed it. And then the new component there in the budget is the commercial. We're really not hitting them very hard. They would contribute more. That's where the additional money is coming from. That's not coming available to Korean right now. That makes sense.
A little bit, yeah.
I think about numbers a lot, so there's kind of
Yeah,
clicks in
that second page, I gotta.
Yeah, and maybe there's more
Can't
to that I
Yeah.
didn't print, I don't know, I remember looking at it quick and I was thinking it was a breakdown of how you were gonna kind of raise this million, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is, so he's kind of got that in his budget today to do what he needs to do with. And this is kind of sort of new. This
Okay.
commercial.
Yeah.
And the multifamily and the residential, this is kind of like it looks like a lot, but really because they're already paying like half of that or more in the town budget already for stormwater. That money's become available to the town for other purposes, and this is going to replace it.
Could you look at the chapter 90 spending and kind of break it down about, would you be able to look at what's been spent specifically on stormwater versus kind of the paving sidewalk program? I guess just interesting to see how much. And maybe that is,
Yeah.
I don't know, and just to kind of look at that and how that, I think we really want to hit home why that can't be used kind of going forward and the benefits of not using that in the long run,
This number scares me a little bit. That's a lot of money to ask for businesses.
Yeah.
And we had Greg here last week, or last time we met. And he was kind of in defense of the businesses, commercial, and he was gonna basically fight us to make sure that that's a manageable number. It's not, we don't get carried away.
One thing we try to show is, sometimes we look at collectively how much impervious surface area is coming from the single family residential and how much is coming from the large residential, non-residential, and make sure the amount of impervious surface area kind of correlates to the amount of revenue being generated from those audiences. That's why the only thing I was saying, maybe we look at your tiered structure a little bit, just to make sure we're being equitable across the board. So I think if we can show that.
The foundation of our tier structures is the equivalent residential unit.
Right, you
Which is
apply
how
that.
much square.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, so if it correlates exactly, then that's when we do the numbers, we should.
Is that in the worksheet, like formulas to do that?
Um,
There was something in here about providing a worksheet.
yeah, I can,
to
yeah, we can make sure that's included to kind of look at that.
Calculate the tiers.
Yeah,
You know, you can like adjust here and it spits out.
yeah, different options, yeah.
Yeah, my fear is something like Walmart, there's like 5 upper tier guys that have like 1,000,000 square feet.
Yeah,
We don't want anything with like 50,000.
Yeah.
right, so we kind
There's
of,
gotta be some kind of.
Have a little bit of a
educated
cap on
commercial
that,
right there,
yeah.
Cause we don't wanna. Come across as being, you know, like, business unfriendly, I'm saying,
and I don't.
let's be equitable.
Or how many, actually, there was a breakdown, I think in here, like how many actual commercial properties you have.
So,
Two. All right.
So if you go to the next page.
yeah, but this data there's data missing. And I think there's
These upper
errors.
tier guys,
In one table, there's copy
just
paste
five.
errors.
Okay.
You know, we could be collecting an enormous amount of money from those,
From
just that small subset of,
Right,
you know, tens of thousands of dollars, it's a lot of money.
So you think we'll have the data end of the month? Or a month from now, mid-February?
yeah, I would say we'll have the data before then, and then just a kind of the QA/QC on our end. I'm actually gonna meet with our GIS manager, Mark, I saw that he messaged me, so. I'll kind of talk through the schedule with him a little bit more, but
Okay.
I guess I'm just trying to be conservative.
So
in
end of
terms what I
February,
tell you.
maybe?
Definitely end of
Okay.
February, I mean,
Okay.
because we definitely wanna have the rate structure retooled, even though I know, I guess we're not going. Putting that before town meeting, but you want it for those public info sessions, because you wanna get that information, right?
We want to put something,
Yeah,
present
people
something like,
have
this
to
is
know
kind
that.
of where we're thinking right
Right.
now. What do you think?
Right,
Get
and I think the
feedback.
other thing is people, I mean, granted, if they go for the bylaw, it still doesn't mean they're committing to, a budget, so, but I think they wanna have some context of what that's gonna look like.
I mean, we'll have to come back and do it again anyway before. The fall town meeting, but
So are you thinking maybe just one public info session before March 16th to start with?
I think so. What do you guys
Yeah.
think? I think there's enough time to,
You wanna keep one in the back pocket.
yeah,
Would you consider doing like a hybrid session where like that way, maybe like people that, can attend remotely like this
Yeah.
meeting, just that way, so maybe like you're saying, oh, if there's like elderly that. And we don't do it we do a night meeting instead to capture people that are working, but then if someone doesn't wanna come out at night, they're working.
we can try it. I mean, we
Okay.
can certainly set up a Zoom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it could be in person, but then allow.
Would the
people to-
senior center or the library be better for that? I've had problems in one of the library rooms. With the Zoom, just projecting it for everyone in the room to see.
Yeah,
No, I think we should consider.
I think that'll
We
just
try to
help
do
capture
that.
a larger audience, if we do it hybrid
Yep.
potentially.
Um. So, are you comfortable going before FinCom on the January 29th?
I think so.
I can't read him. You have such a poker face.
What day is it? Is it Wednesday?
It must be a Thursday, 29th, because it's FinCom.
Yeah, 3 weeks from today, right? We said.
Yeah, yeah.
What time do they meet?
7. I mean, that's assuming you can get on their agenda. And they're supposed to have Monty Tech's presentation then too, I believe. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So income meeting on the 8th, January 8th, today and the 29th, and starting February 12th, every week. Open. All the department budgets.
I just have a slideshow, maybe 5, 6 slides or something. Should go through it fast. Let them know that, so.
I mean, we're not bringing any money article forward in the spring. It's the bylaw. But it's good to get, it's coming.
Right. Right, they wanna know, so.
I don't think it would be good to even to present the bylaw without having them seen any kind
Yeah.
of thought around the budget.
Agreed.
All right, Tim, do you want to ask Chris or do you want me to ask Chris? I'm the liaison for FinCom,
Yeah.
so I don't mind doing it.
If you could ask Chris.
Okay. I'll see if you can get on the agenda for the 29th. And then select board on February 10th?
Yeah, I mean, how far in advance do we need to schedule that?
It has to be, the agenda has to be posted a Thursday before.
Okay. I think I'm fine with that. I just didn't know.
I mean, I
if it
want to
got
put a
closer
placeholder in to make sure.
Now, yeah. Cause I guess when are you thinking for if we're only gonna do public in public info session, I guess that maybe consolidates kind of our timeline a little bit. I guess I would think the select board meeting either has to be the 10th or the 24th, I'm
Oh.
thinking. Yeah,
Select board could be the 7th, we meet.
I'm away.
Oh,
I'm at
okay.
vacation week, yeah, so I wouldn't be available, but I could do the 10th or the 24th.
If we do the 10th, then that gives us the week of the 24th to do the public info session.
Right, which we
Yeah.
talked about initially, yeah.
Yeah.
Do that
So
instead.
do you think we can have a draft bylaw ready by February 10th?
Yes. Yeah. That you've reviewed.
Okay. What are those bells? It's like Angel getting its wings or something? What's
That's
this?
somebody's ring going off.
Oh, it sounds like it's coming from out there.
The retrievers.
Oh, it's your camera?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
camera on the side.
It sounds like it's coming from the hallway.
I have a ring camera too, so I hear that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, when do we want to do our next meeting? Do we want after the select board meeting or after we have a draft available?
I think we should meet before we present the
Okay,
draft bylaw to the select board.
sure.
So the first week of February,
First week of
or is that
February.
too late?
I'm not here, but that's fine.
Or do you wanna meet the last week of January?
3 weeks out from now.
Not on a Thursday.
Just said-
Jenny has,
I
when's
can't
what?
do Monday.
Well,
I
that
can do
week
the rest of
is
the
the
week.
5th week, so. there's
Are
no
you
meeting.
available on Wednesday?
I'm available on Wednesday because we don't have.
The
business
28th?
meetings. Yeah,
Okay. January 28th,
January 28th.
does that work for everyone?
Day is that?
A Wednesday?
So I'm gonna have to leave early, but it's just as scouts is the same time, so I have to like sun at 8, so.
He can just wait.
walk home.
He just got, oh, kidding.
He's
He's
a
had a
scout.
broken foot for like the past 3 months. He finally got out, got cleared that he doesn't have to have the boot and crutches anymore, so.
God, broken foot?
Yeah,
So we can walk home.
so he can't walk. Plus, it's from the church in
Maybe
the
that's why he
center
broke
of
his
town. He broke his foot playing soccer. so-
Oh. Okay,
But, you know,
All
a
right.
long time to heal. It's ridiculous.
so we meet the 28th.
Then FinCom 29.
Yeah. We'll be there. I'll go to some, we can download.
Provide your emotional support.
I'm supposed to be there anyway, but. I'll try to get us on the select board agenda for February 10th. I'll just put a placeholder in there. And then. We need to find a room and a day and a time to do the public, the week of February 23rd. Or March 2nd. I mean, we have, right?
Yeah, I have another POBE that we just said today, that's, I think, gonna be on the February 20th.
We have flexibility around. Actually, we even with those, well,
What time does FinCom meet?
7,
Can we do March 3rd or,
4,
the public information session? That'd be.
I can be
Tuesday,
available
is that-
March 3rd.
So, do you have me?
oh,
We have other.
well, at night, I'll have select board. on
Okay,
Tuesday.
right,
Oh, it's Tuesday, right?
so.
If we're doing it daytime,
March 2nd,
I think we're better off doing an evening one.
okay,
That's been my experience with info sessions.
Let me pull up March. Try to get to March. Okay. You want? The week of March 2nd is what you're trying to find a time?
Yeah,
The
I
week of
think
March
that,
2nd?
that would be good if you're okay with that.
Do you have planning board on Monday?
I believe, 1, 2. I don't think I do.
March 2nd? See, Tim's got planning board on Mondays, I have select board on Tuesdays, and Jenny has conservation on Wednesdays. So pretty much, that's how we landed on Thursday.
So Thursday, March 5th.
I can do that. Does that work?
Yep.
So when is where did you say Tuesday?
I don't think I have.
Yeah.
We still need,
I'm sorry, what date did we just?
Thursday, March 5th, does that work? For
Sure.
the public session?
yeah, we still need to confirm availability though.
Yeah, we have to find a room. What time do we want to do that?
We say like 6?
I'll say closer to 7.
Yeah, about 6:30, 7:00. Okay, fine.
Give people a chance to eat.
Sure, sure.
So then probably we might be able to get the blotter room for that town hall.
Oh,
If
okay,
FinCom is not meeting
sure.
March 5th. Oh, they are. Never mind, I take it back. Well, they're, yeah. Should expect that they will be. Can we, okay, so. What room can we get in the evening, you think? Okay,
Yeah,
7:00?
Sure.
Is that what you wanna do it? Okay. And. Pack and library. And Zoom,
And this is the 5th.
March 5th. That gives us. A few weeks between the select board presentation and the public presentation.
Yeah.
So we might wanna meet in between. Do we?
Um,
You didn't put a February meeting on the.
no, we didn't put a February meeting. But do we do that the 26th then?
You can, I won't be here, but that's,
Oh,
oh, wait, no,
February.
I might not, oh,
I can't do February.
February 20, okay.
Okay.
I think I could zoom in that week, but anyway. School vacation week, people are gone, right?
some people probably.
Who's gone school vacation week?
I'm here.
I'll
I mean, I'm
probably be
here.
here.
You're not going to Disney World or anything?
God, no.
School
The
vacation.
guy I work with is, yeah, they're going. They through the nose.
Not for us that week. No.
They're going that week, yeah. Should we, the 19th?
Sure. I'm fine with that.
You're gonna meet February 19th?
Yeah.
I'm away I'm away, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're away school vacation, but that's to,
This
Well, you
will
might not
be
need
me. Yeah.
as recapping
Okay.
from select board. Before. Public session, so
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so
cause the 26th, you're not here.
I'm
You're not
presenting at FinCon. My
Oh,
budget.
or February
27.
that's right. Supposedly. They'll be behind schedule by then. Okay, all right,
alright, just to go through our dates real quick. Next meeting will be January 28th, then FinCom, January 29th. Then Select Board, February 10th. Then our next meeting after that, February 19th, and then public session, March 5th.
Who wants to try to get the public session set up?
I can take a look into that.
Are you gonna
Talk to at the library about that. normally.
You're probably,
Yeah, so,
oh. He's out?
having a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna call and start asking questions until they
Yeah.
gave me the right person.
Yeah.
And then PAC would be Joe,
Yeah.
Got there,
Just got
that's fine.
Notification.
and then Zoom,
Heidi.
Zoom, yeah, we just get a link from Heidi.
okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'll do the FinCom and select board agendas. I'll let you know if, once they're confirmed.
Great, we've got a schedule, we've got our to-do lists. I don't think there's anything else we're missing here.
Is there anything
No, it
you can
seems,
think of?
yeah, no, it seems good. I think the first thing is, yeah, getting the bylaw, we're working on the data. Just wanting to get a draft presentation together. So you have, to be reviewed prior to obviously the select board meeting collectively.
Maybe we'll have some data to look at the February 19th meeting. I don't know. Maybe,
Yeah.
probably not.
Um,
It'll be close.
yeah. So the purpose of the January 28th meeting is that to hopefully have the bylaw by then to take a look at that? Okay. And
Right,
then-
because that'll be presented February 10th.
Okay,
The budget, if there's any other last minute budget
Budget
questions, we can
questions.
we could run through the budget. Quickly. Before going to FinCom
For sure.
and the bylaw. Okay.
Great.
Are you cold?
Always. Not when I'm outside walking around at the metro, but inside. I get cold and in the coat.
We'll continue on then. Did everybody have a chance to go over the November and December meeting minutes?
Yes.
Great, if everybody's happy, then I'll accept a motion.
I'll move to approve
Second,
I don't even remember the dates of the minutes.
11/21
11/21 and December 4th.
and seconded,
second, yeah.
excellent, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. I see we've got the final kind of infographic for the stormwater BMP. It looks really nice.
That's why I was just looking for feedback on it before I gave them.
Looks good.
approval.
Sure, yeah.
No arguments, no complaints.
This is really nice.
Should put your name on it.
I didn't, but
The library did want their name on it, so,
Okay,
and they added, wide native plants.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's big, captures it pretty good.
Mhm.
excellent. All right, unless anybody, still no public in there, nope. Unless anybody has anything they'd like to address, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you and good night, everybody.